There are so many things I could talk about today. I'm not going to get to them, so I'm going to do this one. Our illustrious president has signed an executive order. And I'm going to be showing these little screenshots of facts about this executive order. Now, okay, we've seen CFPB, that was Protection Bureau for Financial Crimes. He shut that down, completely shut it down. Okay, so that's gone. I assume they're trying to save money. I don't think so. Now he's gone to the AFCC, the SEC. Gosh, I don't know all of them that are in here. And he wants to make them directly reportable to him. Super micromanagement. You know, these, let's say the SEC. The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, is there to be sure there's no insider trading, the rules are followed by these public companies. I mean, there's a history of public companies stealing huge amounts of funds. And we developed these things to rein in this, to control what happened here. I'm sure Elon Musk does not want the SEC to be involved at all because he's been in many fights with them. And I'm sure he's contacted the president about this. But these are all regulatory agencies. And they come up with rules. I mean, they were established by Congress. Now, understand, they were established by Congress, not the president. These agencies are given a mandate to do certain things. And they have to make regulations in order to do that. Now, you could say, well, they're not responsive. This is what Trump says all the time, they're not responsive. But they can't be responsive to, they can't go to Congress and say, okay, I want to change, Part B, Level 7 of this thing. They can't do that. It takes forever to go through Congress. So Congress gives them a mandate to deal with this. It's an overall sort of mandate. Well, Trump doesn't like that. He wants to control these organizations or these agencies himself, which means he has some sort of agenda, really trying to be king, dictator, whatever, and, destroy all the agencies of the government in order to make a fascist state. And this is a fascist state we're developing right now. We can define what a fascist state is, but this is what's going on. Destroy all regulatory agencies. And that's what he's doing. He's destroying all these agencies that regulate how things work in this country. And we need them. Every time somebody figures out a new way to get around the law, these agencies are there to deal with that. Now, he didn't want that. Okay, because he wants to get away with anything. Okay, let's look at this first one. Oh, restoring democracy and accountability in government. Oh, yeah, sounds good, doesn't it? Trump signed an executive order ensuring all federal agencies are accountable to the American people as required by the Constitution. It does not say, the Constitution says nothing about that. The order notes that Article 2 of the Constitution vests all executive power in the president. Now, I'm going to get to this in a little bit later, because that's not what the Article 2 says. Meaning that all executive branch officials and employees are subject to his supervision. Not true. He has no power there. He's trying to get that power. That's what he's trying to get with this. Okay. Therefore, because all executive power is vested in the president, all agencies must submit draft regulations for White House review with no carve-out for so-called independent agencies, except for monetary policy, Federal Reserve. I guess he couldn't do that one. And consult the White House on their priorities and strategic plans, and the White House will set their performance standards. In other words, the White House will tell you everything you can do. One man is going to tell you everything you can do. Our country doesn't work that way. We're a group. We decide, this is primarily what's supposed to happen in the Congress, which sometimes it doesn't happen, but, but there's more than one voice. Okay, Office of Management and Budget will adjust so-called independent agencies' apportionments, assure tax dollars are spent wisely, or whichever way Donald Trump wants them to be. President and the Attorney General, subject to the President's supervision and control, here again, more control than the President, will interpret the law for the executive branch instead of having separate agencies adopt conflicting interpretations. Okay, interpret the law for the executive branch. More dictatorship, guys. That's what this says. The president owns everything. Yeah. Okay, reining in independent agencies, so-called independent agencies, FTC, FCC, SEC, have exercised enormous power over the American people without presidential oversight. These agencies were not developed by the president. The Congress did this. They gave them their mandate. And presidential oversight, no. The president doesn't have oversight. The Congress has oversight. Reining in independent agencies, let's see, okay. These agencies issue rules and regulations that cost billions of dollars, implicate some of the most controversial policy matters. They do so without the review of the democratically elected president. They also spend American tax dollars, set priorities without consulting the president while setting their own performance standards. Now there are no longer imposed rules on the American people without oversight of the president or accountability. Okay, ensuring the government answers to the people. Ensuring the government answers to the president. This order fulfills President Trump's promise to restore constitutional governance and accountability to the entire executive branch. Now that's not part of the executive branch, by the way. That's the legislative branch. Executive power without responsibility has no place in our republic. Really? Everything he said up to this point is throwing executive power to the president. And no responsibility? We tried to impeach this asshole twice. Impeachment obviously does not work well. The United States is founded on the principle of government should be accountable to the people. That's why the founders created a single president. Accountable to the people, the founders created a single president. Who is alone vested with the executive power and responsibility to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. It sounds like he's making laws, doesn't it? Okay. Voters and the president can now hold all federal agencies, not just county departments, responsible for their decisions as Constitution demands. Voters and the president. Okay. It's all about, I was elected president so I can do anything I want. Remember, he said that many times. Article 2 says I can do whatever I want.
Article 2, where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that. It's a thing called Article 2. Nobody ever mentions Article 2.
More importantly, Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want. Article 2 would have allowed me to fire him.
So it sounds
but
like
I wasn't going to fire. You know why? Because I watched Richard Nixon go around firing everybody, and that didn't work out too well. So, very simply, Article 2 would allow me to do.
I could have done anything I wanted. I don't even bring it up because we don't even get there. Absolutely, I have Article 2. It gives me all of these rights at a level that nobody has ever seen before. We don't even talk about Article 2. So, they rule no collusion, no obstruction.
It does not say that. Let's look at Article 2. Article 2, Section 2. Commander of the Chief of the Army and Navy, I guess Air Force and Space Force now too, and militia called in service may require blah, blah, blah. He shall have the power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties, yes, provided 2/3 of the senators concur. He can make a treaty, but the senators have to concur. He shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law, legislative law. But the Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers. That means the FCC, the SEC, so on like that. As they think proper, Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they think proper in the President alone, in the courts of law, or in the heads of departments. So essentially what's saying that Congress appoints these things. The SEC was authorized by the Congress, not by the President. And it's not controlled by the President. But we are entering into another age of this republic, which in 4 years may not be a republic at all. The president is usurping power wherever he can get it. He's doing it by Doge, where he's destroying the administrative state, and he's taking over every agency that he can find. Did you really vote for this dingbat to do that? Those of you that voted for him, I blame you. I did not do that. I was smarter than that. I knew what he was going to do. He's following that Project 2025 right down the line. I've looked at the 2025 thing, haven't looked at the whole thing. Good grief, it's 900 pages. But these things are all made to devolve power to the president or dictator. He is becoming a dictator, and if we don't do something about this, if Democrats don't get off their butts, and the spineless Republicans, used to be one a long time ago, not anymore. If the spineless Republicans can get a little bit of spine and kick this guy out, or at least stop what he's doing. Okay, that's it on this one.